Welcome to the Local Marketing Source Weekly Update, brought to you by localmarketingsource.com. This update is taken from the Local Marketing Source Professional Development Program for local marketers.
This week's Local Marketing Update is brought to you by Scott Gallagher. Scott is the co-founder of Local Marketing Source and has become the recognized expert in providing online marketing services to local businesses. Follow Scott on Twitter @ScottGallagher5 and on Facebook.com/Scott P. Gallagher.
Hey everyone, Scott Gallagher here with Local Marketing Source for our weekly update, our weekly industry update, today being April 11th, 2012 at 4 p.m. Just to give a little bit of an overview of what we are doing, I usually spend anywhere from 15 to 25 or 30 minutes doing a weekly update. This is an industry update, go through a variety of different topics, and today I've been in this business for 7 years. I've gotten some education, very expensive education behind all of that, but running a marketing agency for approaching 8 years definitely gives you some insight into how to handle certain situations. So sit back. I hope you enjoy those calls, and just got a couple more housekeeping items before I get into the weekly overview. First off, I want to remind everyone about localbizbuilders.com. That's localbizbuilders.com. That's a free forum. The story with that forum is real simple. This is a forum that we bought a year ago. It had quite a few thousand members. It was an active forum. It was a very, very good forum. And quite frankly, it's gone. It's dying. I personally haven't participated in that. I'm participating in our endeavors at Local Marketing Source and building my products, building my material, the material that you guys have gone through or are going through. And Local Biz Builders is free. There's a lot of good content on there. There's a lot of other like-minded people, and that's where you guys are going to benefit from. One of the best ways for me to sharpen my skills is with Local Marketing Source. That's one of the reasons why I have that business, is it affords me the opportunity to go on a weekly basis, to go through the industry, understand the industry, and sharpen my own skills. I get better. Repetition is the mother of all skill, right? I get better at everything that I do the more times I talk about it with students and engage with students. That's what makes me who I am. This Local Biz Builders is your opportunity to become those heroes in there with a lot of these individuals. I promise you, folks, the more you give in this world, the more you get back. It's as simple as that. When you have an opportunity to engage and give, it's going to come back to you in many different ways. You're going to form relationships with people, business partnerships. I want to encourage you to go and check that out. If you're not registered, go in there. We're making some major changes to that forum over the next 2 weeks. We've just gone through some, we're pulling the trigger on a few things. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they are, but in the next couple of days, you're going to start to see some changes, and in the next 2 weeks, some significant changes. It's going to be a great place to hang out. But for LMS students, I also want to remind you of the forum. Throughout the week, if you can't make these faculty calls, make sure you post your questions. It gives me time to be able to research if necessary, pull up any articles or documentation. I do a lot of reading. I've got a lot of history. I've got a big library. Can definitely support a lot of opinions and thoughts with that. But on that note, let's get into our weekly update. And today I've got 8 different topics I'm going to cover, from Google testing. Google is testing call reporting in AdWords. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. There's a recent study that comes out in terms of who is the favorite tech company out there. We're going to look at why and how and what are some of the reasons. Discussing a little bit further about Hangouts and what Google's referring to when they discuss Hangouts for businesses and how local businesses, this is something we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, of how local businesses can capitalize off of this new product from Google, as well as reviewing some of the Google webinars. I'm going to point out which ones should be relevant. They've got a lot of recorded webinars that are relevant for you guys. It's good education. Yahoo, yeah, somebody stepped down, huh? What does that mean? I mean, what a company. Still amazing that they're running at 15.6% market share, but we're going to look at that and how that reorganization may shape or change some of the internet marketing landscape in the next 12 months. Antitrust issues regarding Google, as well as a discussion of market share. We're utilizing ComScore's number of 66% or Asquarian of 83%. What is Google's market share? Why is there discrepancies about that? Why is this relevant when it comes to antitrust? Well, there's laws in the United States that are defined by market share. I'll share some of that with you and see how that may play out and what that might mean for us marketers. And this is an interesting piece of information that you're likely going to run into at some point in time. The legality around the use of keywords as trademarks. Well, that's in the big picture of it. That's the stuff we're going to see in the media. But the stuff you're going to run into is utilizing competitors' keywords and different keywords that certain competitors or clients of yours may feel that they have a right to. In the AdWords world, it could definitely be illegal, but what about the organic world? All right, so on that note, let's get into call testing. You know, that's been the biggest myth that has been very difficult with internet marketing and local businesses. This has been a problem for years, and it's understanding what translates. You see, our customers, our clients, at the end of the day, they want a return on investment. Who cares if you're number one on Google for your number one keyword? Really, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. The question becomes, are you getting phone calls from qualified buyers? Well, if we're not generating qualified buyers that are picking up the telephone and calling our clients, we're not going to have them for clients for very long. I mean, it's a beautiful business that we're in when you have clients that are paying you month after month for 5 years. I recognize that. I have clients that have paid me for 5 years. It's beautiful. I want more of those clients. Well, you know, there's always the easy way to do things, and then there's always the, you know, then the hard way and the more difficult way and the right way and this and that. Well, there's nothing about this business that is the easy way at the end of the day. It's creating valuable content that our customers, users are going to consume, distributing that content to the areas that their audience is going to reside, and have them engage with that content and share that content. Well, I'm using some buzzwords in internet marketing, but at the end of the day, that's what we do as human beings. That's called socializing, and we've been doing that for ever. I mean, the moment that language came up, well, we're just digitizing that and replicating that in the digital world is ultimately with what we're doing. Now, getting back to the call testing, the biggest break has been in that fact of demonstrating a true return on investment for a local business owner. If you can't track how many sales they're getting, and it becomes even more difficult for a business-to-business provider. Why? Because their sales cycle is so long. The average sales cycle for a business-to-business service provider is 90 days. That means as us and marketers have to track that. Well, you're starting to talk about getting into CRM software, items like Zoho or Salesforce, and understanding the sales cycle and all the different stages of the sales cycle, and understanding a sales team, and realizing that a sales team is, you know, going to have ratios just like we do in the internet marketing world, but their ratios are, if I pick up the phone 100 times, how many times am I going to get? Well, this stuff we talk about in our sales course. So those numbers are there, but the point is if you don't have the call tracking piece in place, we have to get so deep into our client's business, it's almost impossible. It's impossible because they're not paying enough money to us for us to be able to implement those systems of tracking and tracing. In fact, most local businesses you deal with don't have a good sales system in place and all of that. Now you're talking about installing a CRM application just to get call tracking to show a return on investment? No. Your customers are getting a return on investment and recognizing that through gut. But if we can show them a return on investment through call tracking, that solves some big problems. Well, the problems in call tracking have been all over the place. People have tried a variety of different solutions. And the biggest issue became that Google stood firm and said, you need to have one number on the internet for your business. You can't use call tracking by having multiple phone numbers. Why? Businesses don't need multiple phone numbers. They should have one phone number to communicate with them, one point of contact. I agree. I think they should. So we never implemented call tracking with multiple phone numbers. Why would you? Would you rather have call tracking or ranking? Therefore, AdWords is testing a lot of this, and it's a staple of AdWords. Google is going to be putting, in my opinion, tremendous effort on this. I think this is a big factor in understanding internet marketing. The question becomes, how can we utilize that for organic purposes? Well, it comes down to metrics, folks. We understand that metrics work in certain ways on a SERP. We understand that if there's so many ads being placed, where they're being placed, and where that organic ranking is being placed, we know what click-through rates are. We can make assumptions on that and demonstrate those numbers, those conversion numbers, to our prospect and say, this percentage of your phone calls, by definition, are coming from the internet. Follow that? It's really good supporting evidence to your efforts to help retain those customers. I'd make suggestions in your email marketing efforts to talk about that a little bit, to build the trust and the confidence and the education to your customers. All right, Google, Apple, Facebook. Says who? Who's number one? Who's the most popular? Well, this data comes from the United States. Who's more popular? I would have thought that it would have been either Apple or Facebook, even though Google, in my eyes, is my favorite firm. I wouldn't have thought that. Twitter is at 34%. Facebook is in favorable of 58%. Apple is 74%. 82% of Americans have favorable views of Google. 74% of Apple. 58% of Facebook. 34% of Twitter. It's amazing. Where's this from? Oh, that's from CNN. Yeah, not much value. Damn media. Google Hangouts. Places for businesses to hang out. If you don't know what Google Hangouts is, on a Google Plus page, profile, you're able to create a business page, and then you can have Hangouts. I believe you can have up to 10 people. You can include video conferencing with that. This is a great opportunity to utilize Google's technology for you and your customers. You could talk to your customers, tell your customers to promote a Google Hangout at a certain time, to invite 15 of their top customers during that meeting, during that 30-minute meeting. Your client, your business, is going to provide some insight, some education, and then ask them for a review. If they've said good things about them already, well, they're the top customers. You know what, guys, you've been with us for 15 years. Or you know what, we've got 15 of our top clients with us, or we've got our top clients with us right now. You guys have stayed with us because you enjoy, to a certain degree, the level of service. We'd love to be able to hear further feedback from you on how we can improve your stuff. But we do know that you have enjoyed our services. You know, we're starting a new campaign, and on Google right now, we'd appreciate if you would share some of your thoughts so others that are looking for services, they can help choose, and you guys can help them choose the right choices for them. Something along those lines. You can come up with 101 different ideas. I just went through a little bit of cheesy role play. My bad. I'm sorry. But with Google Hangouts, you've got tremendous ability to communicate with an audience. With that content, you can then, in turn, take that content and reutilize that content. Post it on your blog. Post it onto your YouTube site. And then drive traffic to it through your social sites. What does that do? Yeah, that creates links for organic SEO purposes. Yeah, that creates exposure for local SEO purposes. Yes, you have an opportunity to throw your NAP in there, because when we optimize our YouTube pages, we know to put our NAP into the description, right? All right, moving on. In any event, this was Google's small business blog, and it just astounds me, the education that they're trying to drive. I don't know who they have to reading that blog, but they could definitely do a better job in education, but it's definitely an objective of theirs to educate the small business world. And for those that don't know me, kind of like the milk industry, you know, back in the 80s when they had to get more North Americans, at least. I can't speak for the rest of the world because they've got their head on a little bit straighter than North Americans, I think. But to create a demand for milk. So it had calcium. Well, let's tell people it had calcium. Let's tell people it makes their bones grow stronger and grow better. Now I'm going to share my own opinion that we're the only animals ever in history to drink milk from another animal. We're the only animals to ever drink milk beyond a certain age. But the industry was created. Demand was created. That's what we're doing right now. That's what Google has to do. Google has to create the demand for their product in the marketplace. I mean, there's a huge disconnect, guys. For those that don't know the percentages, go check this out for yourself. But there's more people, there's a greater percentage of at least Americans that are utilizing mobile products and desktop products to find local businesses than there are local businesses that are investing a great deal of time and energy into internet marketing. There's a disconnect. Yes, you could say that a business that has a website is doing internet marketing. Arguably, they are, but just a horrible job at it. I go to my son's Taekwondo outfit last night, and I write the guy a little letter. I said, look, I want to get a couple more, we'll get a couple more students to get you enrolled. Let's get them enrolled. And I want to throw you an idea. This is the business I'm in. Go and check it out. This is a keyword that I rank for. I rank for thousands of others. You want to see it, check it out. But when I go and look for your business, I can't find you. I know that you can convert people that might be looking into karate. I know that when people are looking for martial arts, Taekwondo would definitely service their needs. This was a short one-page letter. He calls me into his office afterwards, and I walk out with a business card and say, listen, we're not a cheap provider. I can't do a website for you for less than $2,000, but I can build you something that will work. Think of me as your realtor, and we're building a house. I've got the plumber on staff. I've got the carpenter on staff. But I'm not just Johnny down the street that's trying to be everything to everyone. And you know, the point being is well, there's a few points that are there. You guys are looking for this type of business. It's you know, as I'm starting to put on my sales hat again in my life for my business, as I'm taking my business to a different level, it's a reminder that we've got to educate these individuals. Do you think Master Ku understood what search engine optimization was? He could hardly understand me speaking in English to him. But he sees it. He saw the passion in my eyes. He knows that I can help him. I know I can help him. Anyhow, I was going to mention Google webinars. If you don't know, Google is also now doing webinars on a regular basis, or they've tried to. It seems that they've actually stopped the regular basis aspect without any announcement. I don't know if people internally are just getting lazy or how organized this company really is. The more you study about them and the more you learn about them, the more you realize how disorganized Google is and how, you know, we all make the same face on the shitter. These guys aren't the most brilliant geniuses on the planet. They're not the greatest engineers. They're not all that. But these recorded webinars, just do a Google search for Google Live webinars or small business webinars. But there's a few that are important, you know, such as you want to watch Getting Your Business on Google+. There's some basic stuff in there. All of their stuff is very basic, but it's also a good thing to understand what Google is doing for local businesses so you can convey the same message. I definitely try to play on the same team as Google, and I never position myself as a marketer that's trying to beat Google. We're not against Google. We play with them. Understanding mobile as well. There's a thing called From Why to How. From Why to How. You want to watch that one. Mobile marketing and analytics, about 4 or 5 more down, is also a good understanding of how, the thing is in our internet marketing world, people say, oh, geez, there's the mobile marketing industry. It's so big. Then there's the local marketing, internet marketing industry. And then there's organic search engine optimization. And you know what? All SEO, it's bullshit. Pardon my language. There's no separate entity of mobile marketing and a local marketing. There's not. We're marketing. We're marketers is what we are doing. We have channels. We have mobile channels to be able to market ourselves. We have mobile internet channels. We have mobile gaming channels. We have in-game play. We have, what do they call that, VR as well. That's all mobile. What about sending an email and somebody reads it on their mobile phone? Is that mobile marketing? No, that's another channel. That's email marketing. And there's search optimization, search marketing optimization. Not search engine optimization. That's manipulating the search engines. We don't lose rankings. There's a few good PPC ones as well. Keep in mind that Google is, that's where they make their money, so you're going to get that. I wouldn't really go to them. I'd go and spend the money and pick up newbie PPC. If you don't know, a friend of mine is the author of AdWords for Dummies. You can pick that book up. That book is like $25. That's Howie Jacobson. It's a fantastic book. I'm actually in the process of professionally reviewing the third version. It's great. It's good. And then if you want to buy their course, they've got a course, but that's way beyond what I would know or be able to help you out with. So yeah, Yahoo's going through some reorganization. Their CEO has left. A gentleman's name is Scott Thompson. He was with the company for, I think it was 14 years or somewhere around there. He's done. I think it was a mutual agreement. Yahoo, I mean, this is every 2 years or every year and a half they're doing this type of stuff. They're the only search engine that has consistently been losing market share time over. Frankly, I'm surprised Yahoo still exists in light of them firing 2,000 people as well. Their CEO is gone, and yeah. So we talk about, and I think we're getting, oh, here we go. We're getting into it right now, antitrust and competitiveness. Now, you see, there's a thing called a monopoly. We've all heard of that board game. A monopoly essentially is, well, in terms of business, a business holding a market hostage or having so much market share that they control the market. I was actually surprised to learn that, at least when I moved to the United States 7 years ago, I've learned a lot in business that I didn't quite understand. And, yeah, it definitely gives clarity to a lot of the corruption and understanding why the rich get richer. I'm not here to beat them, though. Now, it's with a monopoly, if a business has more than 80% market share by the FTC, they can be deemed a monopolistic firm. With a monopolistic firm that's a public entity, you're no longer controlled at the end of the day by the board of directors. You're controlled by the government. Well, who's the government? Very powerful rich people that control rich monopolies. In other words, they control the country. The country is the powerhouse of the planet. They control the finances. Well, how much of a conspiracist you want to go to is up to you. But that's fact. These are public firms don't want to have a monopoly unless they want to become filthy rich. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook want to have a monopoly. Sergey Brin and Larry Page, on the other hand, I feel differently about. When you start to witness things that happened 2 years ago and they gave the big FU to a country of China and walked out of that country because China wouldn't allow them to have organic, democratic results, stories just go on of the philanthropy that these leaders at Google do. The fact that Larry is now CEO, which here we are in April. It's April. Oh my gosh, it was April 12th. This is 1 year anniversary. No, it was April 4th, I think, last year. I don't know, April 4th or April 12th. But he's had his 1 year anniversary of being CEO of the company. And we've seen in the last 12 months how he's made change. I mean, that should have been his motto and not Obama's. But nonetheless. So why is this a big deal? What's Google's market share? You know, there were first year and a half of me giving these, I'd give monthly updates as to market share. And I was utilizing the Pew and Internet American Life project, which happens to be run by some individuals on the board of some search engines. But it's a nonprofit organization in the United States, and they survey different adults in different ways, and they determine exactly how many people are utilizing what for what reasons. Well, they say that in the United States, 83% of the people utilize Google more often than other search engines. Understand the wording of that. 83% of searchers use Google more often than other search engines, so it's not an exclusive aspect. But then there's another organization, a for-profit company called ComScore, that says that Google has 65% market share. Wow. So a nonprofit 501(c) in the United States of America that's got people on its board that serve on boards of other search engines says that Google's got 83%, which is 3% above the fact that they are being called a monopoly in the United States, and in turn would lose control and elements of control, kind of like, you know, how Iran is losing sanctions from the United States. But a business that competes in the free enterprise market space, that fights to earn profit, to put food and revenue into the pockets and bellies of its employees and employees' family, has a vastly different opinion. And their opinion of 65% is the number of searches for search share reports. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Start to show me some other hard evidence, not the stuff that you find in the media, the stuff that you've got to dig for and put together yourself. You find me some more of that, and then I might come back and say that Google is not getting screwed, you know where. You think that's going to happen? Public organizations, I don't see why not. I mean, Steve Jobs got fired from Apple because he couldn't run Apple properly, because his vision didn't align with the president. He's the founder of the company. It's a good thing Larry Page and Sergey Brin studied Steve Jobs avidly and knew everything about that man inside and out, even when people didn't even know who he was. They did. Mark Zuckerberg, on the other hand, well, maybe in 5 years, we'll be looking at some really cool history with that company, I bet. Yelp. I'm using a lot of time here, folks. 33 minutes. We're doing good. We're almost done. Yelp's added some new search filters to their algorithm. Basically, they're defined search filters based off of your own parameters. Let's call it whatever you want. Yelp, it doesn't matter. Google calls it personalized search. It's the same thing. You like vegetarian food? You happen to comment on vegetarian food? It's going to pop up in your feed a little bit more. What does this mean for us? It means the same thing. Follow the on-the-page factors that we teach you for all of your profiles. You've got to do that in all of your social sites. Definitely with sites like Yelp. Take your keyword strategy map that has been created and understand the priority, the link ratios, the keyword ratios, and make sure you're getting those keywords into the content on all of these sites. That's what's going to define a lot of this personalized search. It was definitely defined in that manner as Google. For those students that have been with us for 3 years, you definitely see the results haven't changed. Follow the on-the-page strategy map for Yelp. Personalized search, folks. All right. The aspects of using keywords, I just wanted to talk about that, the last one. You know, I had a client that had a business name. The business name it was service and location. A lot of companies create their business name based off of their location and the service that they provide. Well, the bigger companies then turn around and trademark that service and location. Not a lot of that's right. That would like me calling myself Chicago Marketing, okay, and then going after somebody and then saying, you can't optimize yourself for the keyword Chicago Marketing. Why not? Well, I have a trademark. That's my company name. Well, it definitely makes sense that Google does not want to allow a lot of this advertising on their AdWords network and take money from competitors that are advertising on trademarks. That makes sense. But they're not going to go to the extent, at least not at this point in time, to the extent of manipulating their algorithm to influence relevant content that comes up. We know that. When we talk about and teach about online reputation management, that's a major piece of it. I've actually had a client that I had multiple competitors in a major city in Chicago for transportation service. The company name was Chicago Messenger Service. They're the largest messenger in Chicago. They've got 800 drivers. They rank #1 for courier services in Chicago, which is their #1 keyword. But their name being Chicago Messenger Service, well, messenger and courier, this is the same. So they got upset when we were ranking other cities, other companies, competitors for Chicago Messenger Service. What do? Well, it's not a trademark. They have no legal right to that. But they're my customer. They're paying a lot of my bills. We had to go to our customers and say, we're not ranking you for this keyword. We had to bow to the customer that asked it from us. I didn't agree with him. But you got to do that sometimes. But it would make sense that Google should be ranking them #1 for that keyword anyhow. So it was kind of a silly discussion. Anyhow, put some thought to that.
That concludes this Local Marketing Weekly Update, brought to you by LocalMarketingSource.com. This update is provided from the Local Marketing Source Professional Development Program for local marketers. Visit LocalMarketingSource.com for additional resources focused on online marketing for local businesses.